try to steer away from it. But alright guys, so we're into round 3 of 4 rounds tonight from our Wednesday night Legacy tournament here at Lost Legion Games in South Charleston, West Virginia. On the right, we've got Scotty Wright playing Combo Elves. We saw him last round take down a burn deck. And then his opponent is Roy Black, who is playing... We talked about this a little bit off camera. Basically, it's a red-black Reanimator deck and a mono-red sneak attack deck jammed together into one deck. So he's got, like, I don't know, it should be fun to watch. He could go turn 1 Entomb, turn 2 Exhume. He could go, he could ramp into a sneak attack and then sneak in a Emrakul.
There's going to be big fat creatures coming into play on his side of the
Now,
field.
he is playing, I will say this, he is playing Shallow Grave. Because he has Emrakul and...
Shallow Grave and Inferno Titan will wipe Scotty's board.
Yeah, so he's playing like half Tin Fins. No, he's like a third Tin Fins, a third Classic Reanimator, a third Big Red Sneak Attack. So there's a Thoughtseize. It's going to drop Roy down to 17, and we're revealing 2 Green Suns, a Regal Force, a Dryad Arbor, which you can't take, and the Heritage Druid. So I think here you take the Heritage Druid.
Yep.
And then just make him work for it the hard way with your Green Sun.
I think Scotty has to go
Yep.
for a Deathrite Shaman here, right?
I just dropped and gave it to the other guy. I'm going to go play Commander with Jordan.
Okay, bud. Sorry it didn't go better. Yeah, I think you take a Heritage Druid there, because there's a potential that Scotty can untap and win with the Druid, especially with the extra mana from the Fyndhorn Elf. But he's still going to have access to it with the 2 Green Suns, but make him use those.
So, I mean, just like depending on how much Scotty has been able to watch other players, like you just got to go for Deathrite Shaman here, right?
Does he have it? Oh, you're talking about searching for it?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's not going for anything, because he
Ranger.
has a Dryad Arbor. He added a second Dryad Arbor before the tournament started, so I guess he can Green Sun for a second Dryad Arbor, which seems really bad.
He had the Regal Force in hand.
So tap for mana here. What are we doing here? I think this might be an example of Scotty outthinking himself, because I think you just if you know what he may not know what Rob's playing,
Right.
because there's only 12 people. They're sitting scattered around the room. So Green Sun for 0.
Or 0, yeah. Getting the other Dryad Arbor.
I mean, I guess there's a situation in which you untap, cast Natural Order, and then kill him. Does that work? So you're going to play a land, and you'll play a land, and you can untap one of the forests with the Ranger. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, and they'll all get +4/+4. Yeah, I think that works. He'd have to have a land as well.
Rob's already at 17 too, so
yeah. I'm not sure if it changes the clock, but honestly, on a Wednesday, I really don't feel like doing the math.
Right.
So we'll see how this sorts out. But if he has Natural Order in hand, this might be correct here. And I think Roy doesn't. I don't think he might be playing Lotus Petals. Heck, I don't know what's in his deck at this point, but he's going to need Lotus Petal plus that to combo anyway. And this is irrelevant. You take the Green Sun here, but I don't really think this is going to matter. So, knowing that the last card in his hand was, I guess we knew both of the cards in his hand. I didn't realize he only had 2 cards in his hand, but...
Right, he drew the Ranger.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing here, to be perfectly honest.
Well, the second Thoughtseize was probably going to really hurt him. He probably had a plan for that second Green Sun Zenith.
True. When he draws a land off the top, so just start beating down here, don't you?
Yeah, 1, 2,
He's
3,
trying to
4,
figure out how much mana he has. He only has 6. He can tap 4 lands. You can tap the Fyndhorn Elves, and you can untap a Dryad Arbor with your Ranger, but that's only good enough for 6. So if he draws a mana source next turn, he can cast his Regal Force and then reload. Did you draw Cradle?
Rob just went land go. He might have an Entomb.
Yep.
so edgy with these 2 combo decks ready to go off at any moment.
It's unfortunate because, like, Rob's, like, big red sneak attack deck is fun to watch. It's horrible to play against. I hate it. Because it's just like turn 1, turn a sphere. Alright, Magic is awesome. And as we said, if Scotty drew the 7th land, then the Regal Force is going to be live. He's going to draw 5 cards there. We're always going to read it for the 5th time, I think, this game. Text has not changed. So draw 5 for 5 creatures in play.
Attack with the Upside Down Ranger. Refusing to the...
That's just a mistake, right? Like, you just attack. Oh, he is playing Pedal. So we need... Yep, so we have sneak attack plus an activation here. And Rob down to... Rob's drawn a lot of land this game. He's got 2 cards in hand. And we know his deck is very capable of just winning on the spot, but... So here's a crop rotation. Going to sack the Bayou we tap for it. Go get a Gaia's Cradle, which is good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana now.
So I must have drawn something.
Well, he drew, I mean, between his draw step and the Regal Force, he's drawn 6 cards. I would hope there's some amount of business in there. There's a Symbiote. He's almost to enough mana where he can play Symbiote bounces.
You also have to wonder if Rob has an ambush set up here with him into Goryo's Vengeance play.
I don't think it's very good. Well, I guess you can Crystal Brand, gain some life. I'm not sure that's very good, but I think you would have done that on your attack step. I'm hearing some pretty, I don't know if you guys heard that on the ambient noise, but we're getting some pretty legendary legacy advice out there from Jeremy Bales, who's saying
there
that...
were 2 Vault Scourges.
Yeah. He's saying, pro tip, if your opponent is attacking you with a Vault Scourge with a cranial plating on it and you have Lightning Bolt, you should use it on said Vault Scourge. And I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. At the Legacy GP I played last year, I watched a guy who had that bolt in that situation, and his opponent had an equipped Vault Scourge. He let him attack with it, and he wrote down the damage. And the guy's like, gained 7 life. He's like, what? Oh, I didn't realize I had lifelink. I was like, come on, here's a day 2. Green. So we with the Cradle, ramping up enough mana so that we can hard cast.
No, we had a Green Sunset now.
Oh yeah, but enough mana so well, it's even more than hard cast. You have to 9 mana to search for it. Scotty has 4 creatures in play, plus the Crater. Game 1. It is a graveyard-based combo deck, so it is going to have in the sideboarded games the same kind of I hope I draw my Chain of Vapor, right. You know, kind of draws. But you get to play a lot of targeted discard. I try to tell people if you don't have $80 for Force of Will, if you have 10 cents for Duress, it's the same thing. So Roy's going to start off on the play here in Game 2, down a game, with a turn 1 Badlands into Faithless Looting.
You saw Roy pausing there. I don't know if he was deciding to keep the hand or trying to do math.
Or maybe deciding, do I Thoughtseize or do I loot here? Scotty's, I'll tell you this, Scotty's Elves deck does not have a turn 1 win in it. The old Elves deck I used to play before Craterhoof Behemoth was a magic card. Well, I played 2 copies of Elvish Spirit Guide, and you could win on turn 1. It was very rare, but it physically could have happened.
So, like, that involves Heritage Druid in some way?
Yes, it involves having, like, the nuts, like, right. Legitimate, like, sub 2%, like, possible opening 7, but Scotty's not doing that to anyone. I think we just discarded another Faithless Looting in a Simian Spirit Guide, so we must be on some non-Reanimator plan or just have the clunkiest of draws. Scotty's going to lead off with a turn 1
Thought size you.
Well, that's interesting because those are not cards that exist in my deck. So Scotty must have put his own Thoughtseize in the sideboard. It plays for Cabal Therapy. It's like better in this deck, I think, than Thoughtseize, but I'll allow Scotty to do that. So we see. Isn't that a turn 1 win? Well, he looted, so we don't know what he had in his opening hand. But that is a turn 2, not necessarily win, but that's a very good turn 2, as we're going to Entomb and Goryo's Vengeance, a Gristlebrand.
Yeah. Is that what was the black card with the blue bottom? I can't remember what it was.
That was a premium deck version of Entomb, I thought.
This card that that's the Entomb?
No, that's Dark Ritual. That's a Mercadian Mask
Okay.
Dark Ritual. Gotcha. So we're going to Entomb here. What did Scotty take? I got so excited about talking about the way he could combo, I didn't see what he took. He took Thoughtseize?
So we got 2 black floating here.
We're going to Goryo's Vengeance, this Gristlebrand. And then, like, it'd be interesting to see if Roy goes for it. Like, if he just draws 14 and, tries to find another petal. Because he has another Dark Ritual, doesn't he? Or he has another Reanimation spell. So he's looking for rituals and petals. He hasn't played a land this turn, so we could see a turn 2 win here. So there's Goryo's Vengeance. Reanimate target legend. What are we doing here?
Looks like we're just going to get straight into draw 7.
Oh, okay. That's what you should do. I mean, if you're playing petals and you're playing Dark Rituals, like, you're trying to maximize speed.
Right. Stormcount is at 2.
Yeah, he's not playing that deck. There's no Tendrils of Agony in game here. This is just going to play a dude and attack you with it. Jake Corey's saying he just got a Gristle Boner, so that's one of those things where context is very important, because if it had just been some random internet commenter, I would have just rolled my eyes, but as someone who has used hashtag Gristleband more than anyone else, I think, in existence, I will allow that from legendary Gristlebrandsman. Is that legend? That's a good name for a band. That's a good name for a band. That's like a barbershop quartet. The legendary Gristlebrandsman. Or that's like some kind of act you expect to be on Lawrence Welk in 1973. And now from the Finger Lakes, it's the legendary Gristlebrandsman with their hit song, 7 Off the Top. And a 1 and a 2 and now a Bobby and a Sissy are going to...
Which is it, an asshole or bullshit?
There's a lot of ambient noise going on. I'm doing a Lawrence Welk impression. So Robbins is going for it. He's doing it very deliberately, but we don't... hey, I got nowhere to be. We'll afford him the time. So he's drawing 7 cards. So he's played a land here. He did correctly fetch before a drawing. Does increase your percentages as a small one. We're looking for a Dark Ritual.
4 petals.
Or 2 petals. Or a petal.
With an Entomb.
But yeah, we need an Entomb here. We can't find it, so he's going to go to 12 here. And reach his discard portion of the game. What is this? Why is he drawing more?
Set up the win next turn.
Yeah, but you can just do that next turn and also have your life total. Oh, no, that's screw. I mean, Gristlebrand dies. I'm an idiot. He didn't show Intelligent.
Second phase petal. Always the deadliest.
So we see Scotty has thoughts, Cabal Therapy in his hand, which would be much better. Dark Ritual, Cabal Therapy, targeting Scotty, naming. I think he named Heritage Guy, but I think that's a house rule. We're going to allow that to be Heritage Druid. And he's going to whiff, revealing 2 lands, a Green Sun, Fyndhorn Elf, and a Nettle Sentinel. So Scotty way off from winning this game. I think we're going to a decider here. We're going to Entomb. So I'm assuming that these cards came in the third 7 that Rob drew, because he surely would have piecemealed this win together if he had Entomb and Ritual and whatnot. But I guess you can Cabal Therapy with your Gristlebrand. Flash it back. He's going to die anyway, right?
Yeah.
Is that hashtag value?
Yes.
Or is that hashtag sick value? Yeah.
So Scotty should be at 10.
Mm-hmm. And he is. And Roy's at 5, which is like not irrelevant, I guess. Like, I guess there's a situation in which you could. It'd be interesting to know if Scotty knew what the heck Roy was on. Because I know there, like we said, we know he has Green Sun Zeniths. He's had them 2 in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least 1. We know he has Scavenging Ooze in the board.
Mm-hmm.
He correctly brought in the Cabal Therapies and Thoughtseize, so.
Well, whenever your opponent does nothing but Thoughtseize,
Play lands, concede. There is some value. Do you remember that at the Pro Tour in Montreal when Lucas Jaklowski was playing against Guillaume Waffatapa and knew he could? It was a control mirror, and he knew he couldn't beat him game 1, so he just conceded game 1 and then moved to the sideboard games.
Yep.
Because he sideboarded in Psychic Spiral, and Waffatapa didn't know what he was playing, so he didn't bring in Rest in Peace, and so he beat him, and they ended up drawing. So he turned like a guaranteed like loss.
Yeah, right.
I forget like the details, like the specifics of the deck breakdown, but like it was a huge, like Wafatapa's deck was tuned for the mirror,
right.
And Tchaikovsky's was not, and so he was just going to lose a fair fight.
So we're still on Roy's turn here, right?
Yeah, Scotty is looking through the cards that he's discarding this turn to try and figure out what the heck's going on. But I would think at this portion the jig is up. Well, there's a natural order off the top, which would be really great if you could cast it. Cabal Therapy, naming Shallow Grave. He's got them both. He named Goryo's Vengeance, which is the one he knew about.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's how I'm going to beat you. I'm going to reanimate that Gristlebrand again.
Or the Thimmercool.
Oh, I guess no. He can cast the Nettle Sentinel, flashback Cabal Therapy, get the Shallow Grave, and just buy himself some time here.
Yeah, drawing the natural order, and with Roy at 5, it's not going to take much to piece together a kill.
And I was going to say for a second there is it might be a punt by Roy to discard those reanimation spells, but Cabal Therapy gets them all, so it's not like an extra copy would have been fine. So I don't know how many reanimation cards are in Roy's library. We know he's two Vengeances and 3 Shallow Graves are in the graveyard, so he's drawing pretty thin here. He's at 5 life.
Right.
Scotty can untap, play a creature, Green Sun Zenith for a Dryad Arbor, and that's basically a 2-turn clock. This would be the weirdest game ever if Roy draws 21 cards off turn 2 reanimated Gristlebrand and somehow loses to Dryad Arbor beatdown.
Right.
But it is Legacy, things like that happen. Sorry, flashing back a looting here. Pretty sure that's what happened, though all those things happened off camera here.
Yeah, sack the pedal.
And Roy draws a white bordered card, which is probably a Duress. It looks like a Duress.
Or another Badlands.
No, it's a Duress. And is that a Hymn to Turok? Or is it a Shallow Grave? Yeah, it's a Hymn to Turok. I guess that's a sideboard card, maybe? I don't know why you would... I don't know why we're playing it, but... Hey, it's Wednesday night casual Legacy.
Right.
It's not necessarily casual, but...
This is the undefeated table.
Yeah. Well, Roy's deck has, like, tons of power in it. Like,
right.
You can turn 1 do all the things he did on turn 2.
I mean, he has Mox Jet. Time development.
Yeah, he sideboards into Vault Key.
Lots of power.
Mm-hmm. So there's a Fyndhorn Elf. Mostly innocuous, except that it's a 5-turn clock by itself.
No, it's game if he untaps with it.
Oh, because of the natural order?
Yeah, just get Craterhoof swing 6.
Mm-hmm. He's got Scotty has a Green Sun Zenith in his hand too, so he can go and get Arbor. He can go and get
He can get a backup Fyndhorn Elves to lock the win in.
or just any creature, you know. There's not another Fyndhorn Elves. There's another Llanowar Elves, I think.
Right. You're in the full set Fyndhorn, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar. The full combo. That way you don't get revoked out of the game.
Yeah, that's a really tough spot to be in when people are...
For actually revoker, guessing which Llanowar Elf variant you have.
I build most of my Legacy decks to avoid that situation. So really, I'm really concerned about that exact interaction. Revoker on Llanowar Elf.
Hey, you can spend 5 cents and play around it. Or you can not and get screwed.
Does it even work?
Yeah.
Does it say non-mana abilities?
It says non-lands.
But does it say mana abilities? Because Pithy Needle has the clause, right?
Right. I don't think Revoker has that clause.
So that's the trade-off. You can't needle Maze of Ith, but you can. Yeah. But they can't tap their Noble Hierarch for mana. What are we doing here? Flashing back the other looting? Digging for one of the 3 remaining copies of reanimation spells in Roy's deck.
Speaking of Roy, there was the top 8 of the previous GP. Sam Black had a True Name Nemesis played against him. I made the pun in chat that True Name Nemesis had protection from black.
Oh, burn. I could not think there's a card that's more overrated than True Name Nemesis. You know what it dies to? Like, tons of stuff. Like, just because people weren't playing it doesn't mean it didn't Like, I saw 3, like, Rudy Brixa, friend of the stream, who just happened to almost win another major, or top 8 another major tournament. I saw him lose 3 copies of True Name Nemesis to a Golgari Charm. But, it's just a... I don't know, I mean, it's a good card if you're playing Merfolk, it seems fine. It carries equipment well, but... I don't know.
What's Scotty playing around here?
I don't know. I think he's really overestimating my patience.
So I put the door and tell him what to do.
Hey! Just win, you butt.
What is this? That's 3 mana. Oh, that's just green stuff unit for 2. Are we getting a Gaddock Teeg?
No, we're getting a Scavenging Ooze. Just to lock it up. He's going for style points here. Going for style points.
Oh my goodness!
Not even attacking with the
the
elf. But to be fair, it doesn't change the clock because you just eat 2 things in a turn and then untap attack for 5.
It does change the clock if you don't kill him this turn.
What can Roy do? Like, he doesn't have a reanimation spell. He has to draw a reanimation spell, then cast it. It's targeted. You just eat this exact thing happens.
Ritual Inferno Titan gets it. Or Inferno Titan. I mean, he has filtered through 4 cards and had 2 draw steps into Cabal Therapy, didn't
it was just doing a quick check on Shalgrave to make sure it targeted, and it sure does. And then Roy is Cabal Therapying himself.
Getting the Immortals for the shuffle effect. Just so Scotty doesn't get the...
So buys him a turn, I guess?
No.
Because I don't think Scotty has that creature in his graveyard. Oh no, he has that, yeah. Come on, gentlemen. Let's move to game 2. I want to save him some trouble here.
Oh, they're already... This is game 2. Scotty's up a game.
Oh yeah. I'm going to save these guys some trouble here. And just go ahead and clear this out. Round 4 coming up. Hey-oh! So Roy's tapped out, has no graveyard for his Reanimator deck. Scotty has lethal on board, and we're still going to draw a card and attack.
Can I open the door and you say this again?
No. Do you remember the time in Modern where I turned 3 Slaughter Games naming Live Again against Roy, and we played 10 more turns? Roy doesn't concede. You gotta play it out.
He's gonna Fabiano you.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
We're bouncing the forest. We're gonna replay the forest.
Just attack for 5. You're killing me, Scotty. Oh, are you kidding me? If this was me, I would throttle him. The slowest of roll. Ooh, just enough. Let's do the math here. It's gotta. Oh, and here's the handshake. Turns out that was just enough. question in the chat. So Shallow Grave could have gotten there.
No, it couldn't.
No, Shallow Grave. He cast Shallow Grave. He targeted. Well, the problem with Shallow Grave is it targets. So whichever one you choose, it doesn't target. I thought I looked it up and said it target.
Yeah,
oh, it's the top creature card. No, it is. He could have gotten there. He's exactly right. I forgot it was the top creature card. It's not targeted. Yeah, so he could have technically won there. That's where basically, honestly, someone who just plays every other Wednesday for casually isn't familiar with the intricacies. So you Cabal Therapy yourself, naming Emrakul. Both your Emrakuls go to the graveyard. In response to the trigger, you Shallow Grave. Scotty can eat 2 creatures. Yep.
Yep.
And then you would win.
Yep.
So you're exactly right. Voltaic LV, he saw the line, as well as Mini Big.
Oh man! So they get the reward this week for being the guys.
No, that's a legitimate kind of thing that I'm glad people point out. And again, you have to, for those of you who watch our stream, we're normally a F&M standard stream. We have Wednesday night Legacy, but it's more of a casual thing. We're just doing it this week because we're missing 2 F&M streams in a row. So there's going to be some budget decks. There's going to be a lot of burn. There's going to be some missed interactions. So what can you do? But I do appreciate that. That is an excellent play. It's you definitely have to be. Even I am familiar with Tin Fins. Like I forgot in the meantime that Shallow Grave is a top creature card. So that is definitely an intricate rules interaction there.
You'd actually get one of the Emrakuls. I don't know if that would have won.
You could have.
That would have reset the board.
It depends on what. It depends on what Scotty chooses to exile.
Well, you Cabal Therapy. Your Emrakuls.
Yeah, I don't remember what life Scotty was
on
in.
the stack. If you don't hold priority, you just let Scotty go. Scotty's going to eat one of your creatures. In response, Shallow Grave.
Yeah, but that assumes Scotty is definitely going to, and if he doesn't, then it resolves.
Then you get another turn because the Scavenging Ooze is only 2. The Alpha's only 1.
But you want to reanimate your creature and win.
Right. Well, you wouldn't win if you had the Emrakul.
Yeah, you would. It would wipe his board.
It would wipe his board and reset.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's basically a win because you still have permanence and Scotty doesn't have any at that point.
But he's out of cards and he wouldn't have a graveyard at that point. He goes back and shuffle in.
But I like that scenario a lot better than the you have a Scavenging Ooze that doesn't kill me this turn, it kills me 2 turns from it.
Right.
Anyways, cool interaction, so I'm glad you brought that up. Let's go see how much is going on.
Can we go make fun of Scotty? No.